Welcome to Spoilers for Days, a show where the girls, the gays, and the theys come together to spoil your favorite shows from our perspective in collaboration with LiveXLive. Now, today we're going to be covering Marvel's What If Episode 3. We have some returning faces to Spoilers for Days, and we have some new faces, so I want to give it a little bit of chance for everyone to introduce themselves for those of you just joining us today on our show. We're going to start with the extraordinary Maid of My Please. Let them know what's up, keep it short and sweet so we can get this popping.
Hello, friends. My name is Jessica, also known as Maid of Might on the interwebs. I am a streamer, hobby. I'm an actress, cosplayer, jack of all trades. I do a lot of crazy stuff on the internet. So glad to be here. Hello.
I'm Erika Nagashima. I am a Twitch streamer, gamer, classically trained singer, but I currently do contemporary. And you may have also seen me modeling at JDM events back in the day.
I'm Jackie Jing, and I'm an on-camera host for a lot of video game, anime, and entertainment events. Also a streamer, and recently hosted E3. And yeah, I'm so happy to be here. I love these ladies, and we got so much to talk about. Let's go.
Tons of stuff. Yes, of course. Lastly, thank you so much, Jackie, for coming back again. It's so dope to have you. We geeked out on last episode. If you haven't seen it, please check out the VOD. Also up on the YouTube. Go give it a little love. Do the thing. If y'all don't know me, my name is BK, aka Black Crystal. I'm a streamer, cosplayer, and content creator, clearly. But we're here being more than excited to talk about the Marvelverse, especially with the new series, What If? Now, if you don't know what if is, one, I don't know why you're here, but also I'm just say it, right? You got to be watching the Marvel anthology series about the multiverse. It's on Disney Plus. Go watch it now. You're going to get spoiled. Don't worry about it. It's still fun to watch. I promise.
So what is everyone thinking right now? Like, so Jess, you were saying you're still in, like you're good with the show. You're loving it.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm taking every show. I'm not thinking about the show like it's a series. I'm thinking about it as it's like, you know, like when you watch the Marvel animated movies, a little separate entity. They don't necessarily line up, and you don't necessarily have to like or watch all of them. I'm sure some people are not even watching all of them. They're just like, that sounds like a cool concept. I'll watch just that one, you know?
Yeah.
So that's how I'm kind of taking it. And they aren't connected and they are different. So for me, I think that they're probably holding back the first few episodes because why would you put your strongest episode first?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like we have 12, 13 episodes?
Yeah, how many?
Like they're gonna have some softies in the middle. So every episode that I'm kind of like, we're gonna maybe then get like a Star-Lord episode that blows me away and will keep me in, you know?
Let's get down to what we're here for, the nitty-gritty, the episode that just dropped last night. What if the world lost its mightiest heroes? For me, going back to the Avengers, the first story, you know, honestly, arguably a little before, if we're going to be honest, a couple little movies there that kind of take place slightly before the Avengers. I love the origin stories. I'm a sucker for it. So to see all of our heroes kind of knocked down on pedestals, they are no longer on it, and a take that is totally left field than what I thought I was signing up for. I'm pretty excited. That episode, I actually had to watch it twice.
I was continuously being shocked. But then for some reason it just I think the ending, it just kind of just tied up really neatly. And I was just kind of like, because it was just like all of this like crazy explosive, get it?
Literally
happening. Yeah. But, and then it just kind of like got like tied up like all nicely. And I was kind of like, oh, I definitely thought that it was fun and it was wild and it was a good ride, but it didn't blow me away like episode 2.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I loved the murder mystery dark twist of this episode, but something that took me away from it really hard was the humor. There was too many jokes. Every other line to me was a joke. Hawkeye was making jokes. Nick Fury was making jokes. Black Widow was making jokes. That was super like funny in a way that there was too much of it. Like I wanted just like dark. You know,
Interesting. It kind of was like bringing up the story, connecting the Winter Soldier movie, right? Because Black Widow talks about how she was in Odessa, Ukraine, and that's where Hope was on a mission in Odessa, Ukraine when she died. So that all comes together.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited. I would love to see that. Like, I'm glad you said that. I was like, yeah, I want to know. We talked about last week on Spoilers for Days, like all the different Nexus events from the first episode and the second episode, how we felt about them. And this one, you're right. There really wasn't like a bam, boom, like a lot of
They didn't show
questions.
us.
Yeah, a lot of being
Yeah.
like, okay, on the timeline, I kind of know this had to have been different because, Ant-Man isn't the Ant-Man we know and is this other Ant-Man and question mark. Big question mark. Why is Ant-Man killing people? Question mark. I wanted to get into it. There were a lot of twists. Jessica, you mentioned. I only thought there was quite one. So I'd be interested to say, what are the other twists you thought happened in the episode?
Well, obviously, I mean, Scott Lang is not Ant-Man, and Hank is the Wasp, like Yellow Jacket. Like he's got the Yellow Jacket suit on. There's a lot that happened it was crazy. I think the craziest thing for me was to see Betty Ross back, honestly, and like Bruce Banner with Betty Ross, because we've never seen like Liv Tyler and Mark Ruffalo together. It was always Edward Norton in that film.
That's so true.
So like to see them together, I was like, whoa, they're pulling deep to get Betty Ross back here and like have her, look like Liv Tyler. I wasn't even sure if those were connected to be like, truthful. So like that was crazy to see him living like a happy life with her too.
In the third episode, right, we do have one of our favorite Viking gods visit Earth, Loki. And I really wanted to talk about how you felt about that. Like, I felt kind of debated when they're like, oh, Loki's here, but just kidding, like he's not the one killing people. Like, I thought it was gonna be Loki. Loki conquers the world somehow. Loki's somehow magicking everyone dead. Shout outs to Loki. This was the whole series I wanted from Loki, was Loki being awesome and not a schlep. That's what I wanted. Okay. All right.
I love this. She's like, okay, the whole Loki show BS. Like, I love it.
I get what it did for the world. I get it, but also he was a schlep.
He was like the God. What is like
he was the terrible uncle, like the uncle you don't want to sit next to at the family dinner. Like, Loki, I don't care about what your day job is. Like, stop.
Oh my God! I'm sorry. That was the best description. And I cannot,
look.
That
so I'm here the whole
but it's
time,
true,
the whole episode. I'm like, all right, yes, it's gonna happen. And then this man come out, this tiny little man, this little insect of a character decides to exist. I'm sorry. I had to.
She's going off here.
I was not happy. I was not happy with him being the culprit of the deaths. But I want to know,
it was
did you guys share my
unexpected,
sentiments?
at least for me.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Did you share my sentiments? Did you like it? Or were you just as shook as I? Like, I need to know.
I think I figured it out too soon.
Yeah?
Really? You guessed that?
Yeah, because the
injection, right?
No, not at that point. When she's on the computer and she's looking up files and it has Janet Van Dyne dead, and then she's like, oh, how did somebody log in and they've been dead for 3 years? I was like, okay, so that's Hank Pym, because like he used her login,
Right.
And it's the technology. I think that I would have preferred the episode to be either Loki, like coming and taking over the world and having a big show and a big to-do.
See more of that, yeah.
Or just keep it this really cool murder mystery that like ends with Hank Pym,
and it was
like,
just that.
Because I think having Loki there too, it's like it makes it a little bit more of a mockery. It's not quite the like murder mystery noir that I wanted, or like I want an extreme of either or. I think melding the two was just a little too much. It's like, why Nick Fury just gives this guy to Loki, and then Loki just like casually rules the world now. Like it was too much in one, I thought. And I really wanted a gritty, gross murder mystery that ended with that shock, and then maybe he even kills Nick Fury. Who knows? Something really shocking instead of just like, and Loki's here, and now he rules the world at the end. Bye bye.
I feel like the ending was
Marvel.
just like trying to be like Twilight Zone-y, like where just like something just like completely like, okay, we didn't need that, but like it's
Give
some
us
weird
that
end to it.
episode then, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree. I would love to see how he takes over the entire world in one day, but they just wanted to throw something on top there, I guess.
I think it's something to be said about the universe, or you know, a little bit about the multiverse we were watching, is that Earth is pretty vulnerable without its Mighty's heroes,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's a very small percentage chance that the Mighty's heroes formed in the way that they formed in the MCU that we do watch. So to kind of see that, and to see things that were kind of the same characters meeting, even though there were slight differences, and Loki still coming to Earth, but under different circumstances, and able to conquer the Earth without needing a whole interdimensional army. He could just have his Viking homies pull up. He still is good with the family, you know, and actually is like, we're just gonna hang out here. Since the first death, we'll talk about it, right, was Iron Man, and it compromised Romanoff, right? She was being charged for it. She was bringing her in for it. Same
Yep.
situation, Thor happening, and poor baby Hawkeye is now being blamed for this. That's what I saw, rather than be like, oh, there he goes. I was like, oh God.
Right.
Oh God. Then, you know, then he's sitting there in the prison. Poor Hawkeye's just dead. I'm like, what is actually going on
Yeah, it was
right
a
now?
lot.
Like,
Does he have really amazing like arrows? Like
yeah,
that
he does have
He,
really
I know they're
amazing-
good.
He don't miss. He don't miss.
No,
That's,
no,
like,
I
his
know, I
thing,
get,
yeah.
no, I get that, but like, just an arrow is gonna kill a god. Although
I
at that
get
point,
that.
I
I
get
agree
that
with
he's
that
human.
too.
But,
I get
but
that.
at that
too.
point, because he wasn't worthy, was he just human? Like, I don't
That's
really
what
know if
some
that's
people
that.
were saying. Yeah,
Like, that's my confusion there.
that kind of shook me too. I was like,
Yeah. Like, how is that so
No,
easy
he's
to kill a
just
god?
dead.
Maybe
Like-
maybe they did
done.
the humor on purpose to like trick us and be like, oh, you're not gonna think about why did it never kill him?
Yeah, right? I love it.
Uh,
The fight scene between Fury, Loki, Hank. Like,
yeah.
can we just give Fury a little time to shine? Like, I want him to be his own character. Put Fury in the limelight. He deserves his chance.
I agree. He deserves a movie. Like, I want to know, like I know Captain Marvel touched on it a little bit, and they developed their relationship and everything like that. But like, I love Nick Fury, and I loved seeing him. You know what I mean? I just like wanted him to get some more screen time.
Of all the deaths that happened in that episode, like, which one was like, I know this is terrible. Which one was your favorite death? How did you feel about the
Hulk
death?
exploding.
Hulk exploding? Yeah.
Hulk, yeah.
I was like, is he combusting? Like, I'm.
It looked like he
I was
was.
literally watching slowly. I was like, because his explosion was very drawn out. Am I wrong? It was
No,
like,
he
was.
like
It took a
transformed
while.
and
I
then
was
bubbled
like-
up.
I thought it would be faster.
I had a moment where I was like, Chunky Hulk, how cute!
And then, ooh.
Excellent.
He
Like, look
popped
at
like
that
a balloon.
chunk.
You literally were like, oh, how cute, and then he exploded
He
like
exploded.
a balloon. Oh my God.
Remind me like Harry Potter with like Marge blowing up. It was kind of like that, but
Yeah,
then he
I was
died.
like, he's
But then he
chunky.
died.
And then, yeah.
oh,
But,
that
like,
is
it is-
funny.
I thought at first that maybe like the shot was like extra like serum or something that exploded him, but then when it goes back and shows you the heart, it's like, oh no, it wasn't Hulk exploding, it was his
Yeah.
heart growing. Like
Oh my
he
God.
threw the expand thing at
Yeah.
his heart, and then his heart was the thing that was exploding. Like, how painful would that be? Think
It's
about
so
it.
bad. You
Oh,
over
yeah.
pump your blood vessel, like literally, like I can't even. Yeah, you would explode from green goop. No, get me out, get me out. I want no part of that.
But
I like the
I
Black
must
Widow
say,
one though.
He was
Black Widow death.
very
You like the Black Widow death
he was
as
very
well?
dusty. He had a dusty death. He did not have a gooey death, which I would have
Why
thought
is
it
that
would
gooey?
have
I
been
thought
gooey.
it would be covered in green.
He was
That's
like,
so true.
Not
Like
like
slime, like everywhere,
slime.
like Nickelodeon
Yes.
style.
Nickelodeon slime. Yes, I was about to say that.
Oh my
But do you know
God.
what the rating is though?
Hold on, though.
Gross.
I love how Jessica's like, I want this to be super dark. Imagine Hulk blowing up though, and a bunch of green going everywhere. There's
Yeah,
no
that
way
would be
it
so
could ever
campy.
be dark. Everybody would be like,
But just like chunks. The chunks would make it dark. Not just
Right.
big
okay, right, if it
chunks.
was
You just need a couple
Yeah.
body. Yeah, look at Erica's. I don't
Ooh.
like that. I
You
don't like that.
Jessica brought it back. She knew how to make it
Yes,
heavy. Well,
no,
Excuse me,
no.
I have a background in horror, so
Oh
excuse
God!
me.
Oh God!
Oh man.
Arm, clap, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I can't
Yummy.
stop seeing that now.
But Erica, you were saying you
Apologize.
liked Black Widow's death. Like,
Well,
what about it?
I
did
liked
you
that
like?
in the way that it was. You could actually saw her, like the fact that she knew what was going on, and you actually like saw her doing like combat with whatever the source was, and it was a lot more like aggressive and like mysterious in that way. Like you literally
And her
don't see what's
detective
going
work,
on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just-
totally.
yeah.
It's so low lit.
It was
Like
much more
honestly.
real.
Absolutely.
It highlighted her for sure more than the first Avengers did because we got to see her be like a badass detective agent.
Yep.
A real
An
agent.
agent, a real agent. No, I'm glad you said that though, because it's like, you know, we need our women in superhero films to
Yeah.
show out. Okay,
Yes,
like
we do.
they don't need to be just love interests or just side characters. They can be leads, and it is dope to see that in an Avengers type story. You know, Black Widow kind of staying true to herself, trying to bring a team together. That's apparently the only thing that she does now that I'm noticing a trend. Okay. And it was kind of sad to see her die, but I am glad that she was like uncovers the secret and kind of
Yep.
was like the last one to
And
kind
she
of
solved,
go.
she solved it.
Yeah, she still solves it and gives the lead right to Fury. So like
Mhm.
that's I'm good. That's a way to go out. You know,
Yeah,
I
she did a
wasn't
great-
mad.
I
Can
did
we-
like what they did with her. Like I felt like they centered it
punches.
around her, and she was doing a lot of the investigating. And
Mhm.
she also had a great fight scene. Like I really liked the fight scene in the back of that van. Like I was
Exactly.
they talking about just like how her character evolved. It was kind of cool to see that she was kind of like more the center of attention in this episode. So I did like that. I think worst death though had to go to Thor because the arrow thing was just sad.
Flat.
An instant
God.
bystander at that point. He wasn't even an Avenger. So it was just
Yeah.
like, wow,
Yeah.
you're just
He was
killing
reaching
to
for his
kill.
hammer.
You just
At this
murdered
point.
him. Also,
just
how
killing
did
to
he
kill.
know? How did he know that like he's just going around on a rampage? I was
He
upset. I
is.
was
He
like,
really
this-
is. That
Well,
was
so
so
didn't he
targeted.
mention like somebody mentioned in the episode like God of Thunder, this mystical being coming down, like he has potential. Like
Oh,
I can't remember if it was
yeah.
him or it was Nick. Somebody said like, because somebody was like, what about like they're going after Avengers, the Avengers Initiative? What about that guy? And somebody in the episode said like, well, he's a
Someone did, I
god,
remember
like
that,
a powerful being. Like might as well take him out. Maybe it was Hank at the end who was talking about it with
Hank
Nick.
was
I
just
can't
saying
remember.
like, oh, like you would have recruited him anyway. That's what
No,
something like that. That was
Right.
it. Yeah, like powerful being, like
just like,
Like,
don't
yeah.
mess up, dude. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
That
Poor
was
Thor.
the tying it up too neatly for me. Like that, like when him saying that, I was just like, oh, of course, like this is all just gonna like work
Yeah.
out like that. But then again, the biggest challenge of these stories is the time constraints, which I think like really challenges these writers. Like we said, like I need to look up whoever wrote episode 2 because whoever did that, like that, you have some talent because they wrapped up that story well. It had way too many characters, but in a great way. Like I was like.
Not overwhelming.
But somehow gave them all a little bit of time to have their like glory moment, and then was still funny. Like episode 2 is perfection. This one it like all wrapped up way too nicely. And I agree with Jessica when she was like, if it would have just ended on it being Hank and like just being like him like crying or something like super dark, like it would have been kind of like a Black Mirror episode 1, season 1 thing where you're like, why did I just watch that? But then like, you'd have you'd be like, God, I just watched all the Avengers die, and then like he did this to avenge his daughter, and like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
If he like ended himself
Oh
in
my
front
god!
of Nick, like something so dark.
Oh, that just gave me chills.
But that would have been good.
But
like
Disney
if he
would
tried
never.
to Giant Man, like because he had not tried to Giant Man. What's his name? Paul Rudd was the first to do that, so he like did that and like killed himself or something. Like would have been.
God.
I'm sorry. I work in
No,
a
I
very
like
dark
the
mindset.
darkness. No, I'm like here for it. I'm just like, we know Disney
that
was
would've been
like,
great.
we gotta wrap this
That's
up.
what I'm saying. I
You
wonder
want
what
to know
the
the writers though? Do you want to know the
rating is.
writers?
I do for episode 2.
I'm
Episode
gonna look
one.
at the rating.
Okay, episode 1 was AC Bradley. Episode 2 was Matthew Chauncey, and episode 3 was AC Bradley and Matthew Chauncey.
Interesting.
So-
So kind of funny because It was kind of like a combination of
It
the
had the
two
humor from the
episodes.
first episode. Like I said, it had that
100%.
parody take of like, well, what if the most ridiculous, dumb way the Avengers could have probably have not existed? Here you go. Like, I feel like it wasn't the one we really wanted to see. Because if we see that, I feel like that's an Avengers movie wasted. Like, I feel like that is a whole like scenario we should see in a full length film with like actually thought out with like that grade of villainy, or shoot, give me a whole Watchers movie. Like, I'm ready for this man.
Yeah.
That
me
keep
too. That'd be
talking.
cool.
Ooh, can we
in the
talk about how
episode.
he's in every a bunch of scenes though? Did y'all catch him?
The portrait scenes. Yeah, multiple.
In the back? Yeah.
Like in
Yes.
He was
Cool.
involved in this
He was
episode.
in those. Yeah. That was
Also,
pretty cool.
He also broke the fourth wall for the first time, being like, hey, episode starts middle
Yes,
of
and they came
episode,
back.
by the way,
Mhm.
let's talk about this. Oh, okay, I won't do nothing. But we know this watcher specifically, this specific watcher is the one that does stuff. He's one. So it's just a matter of when, okay? It's not about will it happen.
They're saving
it's
it.
when.
They're
it's
saving it.
when. They gotta milk it. Oh, for
Oh
sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Absolute. One of the cool conversation topics that we did have was talking about actually just the fact that an old white man is again causing mass murder. Can we get a different narrative? I'm gonna go there, bruh.
That's very
I'm just
true.
gonna go there. Like you were saying, all stream, Jessica. Like, can we choose one? Can we actually make it a thing? Why does it have to be two? Also, why does it have to be, very haphazard? It did feel like that. I feel very just like, meh, we'll let it happen here. YOLO. Throw it at the wall, see what it says. Oh, that's pretty good. When this is a plot in an episode, like we've been saying, that could have had some depth to it, could have had a little bit more logic behind, like just a little bit. I don't know, man. To me, I didn't feel Hank's motivations. Like we didn't get,
They didn't
we didn't
show
get
us
enough
that.
of it.
They didn't give us
Show
the
us,
backstory.
yeah.
They didn't give us a
Yep.
flashback or anything, like.
Mhm.
And I kind of understand why they went with Hank Pym. I feel like it is incredibly unexpected. Like, who would you think? Like, you'd be like, oh, it's probably this villain or that villain or this person. I feel like Hank Pym, because we've never even seen him in action. For us as viewers, we've only ever really seen him as like, older, retired, giving the suit to, Paul Rudd. Like, I think that it was an unexpected choice. Like, yeah, it's the same kind of narrative, but like, I think that it was a bit like, I was like, oh, it's not Paul Rudd. Oh, it's Hank. I think got rid of the Loki stuff and added more backstory.
True.
It would be a bit more compelling. And I don't think you need to add backstory beforehand, because then it would give away like, oh, well, if it's Hope, then it's Hank Pym. But even like flashbacks of like him sobbing over his dead daughter and his wife, or like anything, or him in the shadows watching like Nick Fury just be like, all right, moving on to the next one. Who else can I recruit? Anything like that would have added to the depth of the character, I think.
Absolutely.
But I do like that Hank Pym was a bit of an unexpected choice, and I respect that.
Yeah,
You know
that was
what I mean? Like,
that was a surprise.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh my
Well, we are
God.
going to get into our last segment here for Spoilers for Days, which is the Reddit review. We got some quotes from Reddit, and we're going to kind of see how we feel about them. So I'm going to read them out for you, and, just give me your thoughts. Don't hold back. I don't want, it's Reddit. All right. We got to get a little savage here. Okay. But if you agree,
Oh, here we go.
don't hesitate to say that you agree. So take one is episode 3 felt like someone really thought through a very creative story to tell, gave us whodunit vibes the entire episode. And though I saw Hope Van Dyke on Windows computer giving a glimpse of a connection, I was pleasantly surprised to see Hank pop up as the bad guy. It felt unexpected. It felt creative. That was storytelling. Take one. 74 upvotes on that.
But that was a very positive review.
It was very
Yeah,
positive.
that was a.
I would say that is 2 thumbs 2 up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
A little
Too
2 thumbs
excited.
2 up. Not.
Yeah,
I don't agree with it wholeheartedly.
I would have agreed with it if it gave us more whodunit, less humor, and no Loki.
I know Loki.
Honestly. Yeah.
I
If I would.
Loki. But
That
yeah, I
right now,
agree. No,
Loki
he
on
needs his own episode.
Not Loki.
Yeah.
Loki is doing his own thing.
Yeah.
One Resi user says, easily my favorite episode. The other 2 had too much of a feel-good childish vibe. In my opinion, this episode was more darker and more serious.
It
Except for
definitely was
all the
darker, more
jokes.
serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for all the jokes.
Yeah.
What episode did you watch? Reddit user number 3. I'm
It's
so
darker with
confused.
all the murder, though. That's true.
It
Yeah,
was
it was-
darker.
yeah.
It was
True.
darker for sure.
I think
But
it was the first time we saw like these characters, other than like Tony Stark's dream, you know, in the MCU, actually dead. Like,
Yeah.
Reddit user says, I like how they didn't show us the exact Nexus event from this universe. Had us involved in the mystery. The episode also handled the butterfly effect better than the first 2 episodes. How do you feel about that? I'm curious. Butterfly effect better? I'm not really sure.
I
think-
don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
it
about
wasn't
that.
like this, like turn to this, turn to this, turn to this. It was just this turn to them getting murdered. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I think it would be very smart if they did like Tony Stark's murder led to this person dying, led to this person dying.
No,
Like,
that would
those
be really
events
interesting. Yeah,
linearly like that, instead of just being like bap 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 bap. You know?
Yeah. It's definitely the latter. Yeah. It wasn't like we saw the connection between these deaths and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
It was just murder. It
And,
wasn't
what
like,
it led
yeah.
to. Yeah. That's
I would
true.
argue that it isn't as butterfly effecty as this
I
person thinks.
liked that they didn't show us the Nexus event, but again, like we were saying, it would be nice to have seen a little bit more of the repercussions of that, you know, all that backstory.
It is nice to see that like people are actually like really enjoying it. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, one Reddit
see this
user here
next
might
one.
not enjoy it now that you say
Uh-oh.
that, because now I'm looking at it and it look a
here's
little
negativity.
saucy. So here we go.
Okay.
It says, it wasn't my favorite, but it wasn't terrible. I figured out the Ant-Man aspect when they showed the syringe being split a little. Coulson's part felt off. I mean, Steve, I heart Steve. Yeah, look, Jessica's losing it. Jessica's losing her. Oh my
my God, I
God.
love
Oh my
it.
God.
I did not write this review, I promise.
That goes a bit beyond fanboy and into stalker territory.
Okay,
If you don't
that's true.
mind
That's a
me
little-
saying, it would have been better as a I Heart Captain America 0704. Plus him being so nonchalant about the deaths that he focused on the smell of lavender.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, but
did Jessica
it ain't
write
up.
this?
Hold
You-
on.
Jessica
Hold
said
on.
she didn't write it. She wrote
Yeah,
this.
hold on.
She wrote
This
this.
is part 2. This is part 2. I'm
Oh,
thinking this
well,
is Jessica's
okay.
alt card. Yeah, this is Jessica's alt on Reddit because I'm convinced.
I know,
Ready?
seriously.
Ready? The Hank Pym twist was pretty good, even though I saw it coming. The Yellow Jack's costume was a nice touch. Would think that means he bonded more with the bad guy from Ant-Man. You didn't know that. Still don't know how Loki encapsulates the entire world when he still have nuclear weapons, but
But
okay.
But okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
like,
was
That is
Jessica
Jess's
wrote that.
comment.
I agree very I feel like the Simon Cowell of spoiler for days. And
I love it. It's
say
great.
like I didn't enjoy the episode. I'm glad we're getting more Marvel content, but like that guy's review was
was on the nail.
Spot on.
Spot on.
on point.
Yeah.
No, I agree. This has been it. Jessica, you have been spot on. Honestly, you're one of our resident comic book heads, so I really appreciate you giving all your juicy bits and insights. And other lovely ladies joining me today. Erica, of course, so great having you on. Hope to see you around again if you keep up with the series. We'd love to have you on the show
I
again.
will.
And yes, Jackie, my baby. It was so dope to geek out with you again today. Please keep watching. I know we'll all be hanging out online and streaming. Please check out the fellow queens that are with us on the show and join us next week for Spoilers for Days. Same day, Thursday, 5 p.m. PT, 8 p.m. ET. The next episode of What If is Doctor Strange taking on an evil version of himself.
Yes. So like Spider-Man.
Yes. So like Spider-Man question mark? I don't. Right? I'm like, we're all like, what? And I really encourage, if you're a Marvel fan, please support the content that is dropping out. Go see the movies that are coming out. If we want more superhero stuff, they got to hear from you first. So you supporting it means that we get more of it. And I'm loving it. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us today. Please share some love. We will see you later on the interwebs. I hope we see you next week, Thursday, same time, same place. This was Spoilers for Days.